Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. Hope you guys are having a great morning and a great Friday. Thank God it's Friday. That's what they say, right? There's a movie, there's a restaurant. Thank God it's Friday, and we're happy it's Friday. And I hope you're having a great day, folks. Today is Friday, September 26th, and we got a great show lined up for you. First of all, we got the regular stuff that we always stay on Friday, but I have a great guest on the second half of the show, folks. Everybody, if you're into the military and the Navy and Air Force, of course, and the veterans, local author, ladies and gentlemen, Paulie Freeman will be joining us, and he wrote two books, The Legendary Hunters of Texas. Interesting book, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, another one which just started reading, of course, Home Away from Home. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good stories. Kid from Harlem and Foster, now living in Tennessee. Interesting story. We're going to have a lot more fun with that. So, guys, every show is dedicated to the first responders, the men and women in the military, of course, our veterans who fought for our country, but most it's dedicated to people like you who tune in today or every day to Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. Let's go to work. Yep. It is what it is, folks. Ocean's Pit, thank you for joining us here on Friday. Oh, so much to talk about. Where do we start? First of all, I know exactly where we're going to start, and that's called Ace Hardware, the number one sponsor of Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. Also, the Tony Ocean Show in general and the Tony Ocean Columbus Day Parade, which will have our own float on Monday, October 13th, sponsored by, number one, Ace Hardware. The Ace Minute quick update on grub worms. Be advised that they're lurking in your yards right now. Those end of the summer hot days when it's damp and cold at night, and they come up and they nibble on the roots of your grass until they eat all the roots and the grass is dead. Well, at the JRC Ace group, they have a stake and stop them all in their tracks, giving them a dousing of broad advanced Grub Killer Plus, available at all 7 locations. Kills grubs in just 24 hours. Absolutely, folks. And through September 30th, just a few days left, $50 off any Weber Spirit and Traveler grills, $100 off any Weber Genesis grills, and buy select Milwaukee M18 power tools and receive a free M18 red lithium battery, $169 value, 25% off Keystar replacement car keys. Always be prepared with a spare key. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Our good friends from Ace. All right, so, boy, what do we talk about? There's so much to talk about today. Don't forget, Paul Freeman will be joining us at the second half of the show, a great author, and we'll talk to him about that stuff. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of good stuff, too. And, of course, I want to thank, since we weren't on Thursday, I spent the day with my mom. You know, my mom is getting ready for her surgery, which is going to be October 22nd. But, you know, being 86 years old, this is the first time she's going into the hospital since my sister was born. And before that, first time she was in the hospital is when I was born. So my mother's been very, very healthy. And so it's kind of a little scarier. She lives alone. Just when she was doing her MRI and she had to put her through that thing, she was freaking out. So thank God it's going to be replace the valve and you're going to be able to go through the wrist. So, and they say she'll be home the next day. So it's it's just a little mind consuming for her. But we're here today, folks. I want to thank everybody that showed up to Rosario's on Wednesday. Chris Picaro, Manny, and the crew over there doing an incredible job. Double T always doing a great job, folks, and seeing Fred and everybody, and Debbie, and of course Susan Jambroni. Thank you guys, and Mike Pappas and all you guys for coming out. It was a great show on Wednesday night. Last night, I can say is that if you haven't been to Positano's in Oak Brook, we played on one Thursday a month. And last night, I think the who's who, everybody we knew came out. I mean, it was a packed house. Dance floor was packed all night. So much fun, so much to talk about. Of course, we had the incomparable Lisa P doing her stuff, playing her magic. And of course, jumping Jerry Jams doing that. Double T showed up, sang a song when we had Felix Greco there. We had Louis Pipes. I mean, the list goes on and on of everybody that stopped by, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you. Of course, Frank and Bill do a great job, and we will be back there in October. Lisa will be in Florida on our date in October, so filling in for her for that day will be Kim Peterson LeFew with Jerry Jams, so that'll be kind of cool. Tonight, folks, we're going back to the stomping grounds. Every Friday, you can catch us at Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg. And tomorrow, one of my favorite places to be, folks, especially their best outdoor patio in the suburbs of Chicago. And they'll still be open, folks. Taverna on Division in Melrose Park, 8 o'clock with with my good buddy Double T, Tony Toto. So that's Saturday night as well. So very, very cool. Let me see who's saying hello to some lovely people today. Ryan Lewis, it was great seeing you Wednesday, buddy. Thank you, Laurie. Long time no see. Hope you and Franny are well. Patrice in the house. Dick Alderman, see you tonight. There's Ronnie B. Thanks for the pens, Dick, by the way. Great day yesterday. We have a lot to talk about. It's Friday. So Friday, either you're sitting around kicking back and get ready for the weekend. And interesting stuff. Let's get, folks, it's also the 45th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And I'm sure I'm going to talk to Paul a little bit about that. We have him on the show, and it's the 45th anniversary. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about so much more other stuff, folks, as well. All you football fans out there, Rudy Johnson, of the former running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, has passed away. They said it's committed suicide. Horrible that has to happen. I just can't imagine what people have. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. Wednesday about it. Just crazy. There's Francine watching. Hello, Francine. Mary Grievous is in the house. So let's get right to my friend Mary, folks, when you're talking about real estate at its finest. Well, buying, selling, contact her. She's the lady for you. That's right. She's your forever agent. That's Mary Grievous at StarkRE.com. Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate, available to assist buyers, sellers, for sale by owners, and expired listings. Mary's the woman for you, man. 630-688-1725. Call Mary, and folks. And then if you're talking about Mary, about the real estate, you got to talk about the cruise. And our guest, Paul Freeman, will be on the cruise. Him and Francine will be joining us, so we're excited about that. The cruise we're talking about is the 3rd annual Chicago Music Cruise with me involved. Richie from Seventh Heaven and Mary, they've been doing it for many, many years. So it's nice that we're doing it again, and we're doing it with a different ship. And me and Richie are going to try to still put up a little live remote to give you guys a little bit more update on the MSC World America. With a brand new ship that we're doing this, folks. It's going to be a great experience. And the best thing about it, we'll all be doing it together. We're learning this new experience together on a brand new ship with one of the greatest bands, if not the greatest band out of Chicago, Seventh Heaven, of course, and yours truly, Tony Ocean, and the Main Event Band. Now, it's January 17th to the 25th, 2026, 7-night Western Caribbean cruise, Miami, Honduras, Costa Maya, Cozumel, Ocean Cay. What else can you ask for? It's in January. When you're freezing your asses off, you're going to join us on this cruise. Very simple. Go to ChicagoMusicCruise.com. Put in T.O., Tony Ocean, of course, or better yet, to find more information on the new ship, MSC World America. Call Mary at 630-688-1725 and say, I want to go on the ocean with Ocean. And, of course, Seventh Heaven. So I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So Boy, what do we got? Chicago Bears all excited from the last victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see what happens when they're in Las Vegas, Nevada against the Raiders on Sunday. I think it's another 3:45 start, a mid-afternoon game. But former Chicago Bears Brandon Marshall and Peanut Tillman will be on the ballot now for the Hall of Fame of 2026, Sports Hall of Fame, Football Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Peanut Tillman and Brandon Marshall, folks. Absolutely. Our prayers go out to the great Eric Faulkner. Now, some of you guys might know where he is, some of you don't, but if you follow a band that I grew up loving, and I still do, but of course they're not together no more. And Woody from the Bay City Rollers has his own new band. Not too keen on that one, but I'm glad Woody's still doing it. And Eric was one of the great guitar players. He had some health issues. Thank God he's okay, but he's recovering. So our prayers again to Eric Faulkner, from former of the Bay City Rollers. I know some people are rolling their eyes. Bay City Rollers? Yeah. They're still a great band and still had great songs. Case closed. Also, Chicago house music DJ, one of the legends who passed away, folks, DJ Ron Carroll, has also passed away. For your hip-hop DJ, house music DJ. He was a big legend here in the city of Chicago. Also, folks, Sunday, it's time to go turn back the clock this Sunday. That means it's going to get darker quicker, folks, and you know how that is. There goes my fishing. Could the end of we can still fish in October, maybe until 1st of November. But now they're going to say we're getting cold. We're going to get some cold quicker this year, and I hope that's not the case. So we'll have to see what's up with that. What else we got? I'm just trying to get some other stories here. NFL. Oh, so speaking of the NFL, we'll keep with the sports. Sean Alexander, former player for the Seattle Seahawks, he's just going to have his 14th child. 14. His 14th child he's going to have. How? It's like, wow. Laura's got 5. I know other people got 5. I know people got 4, people 3. 14. Woo! That's a lot of action going on over there, folks. Absolutely. And still staying in sports, Cleveland Guardians, David Fry was hit with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. I can't imagine what that's in the face, mind you. I can't imagine. I've never been hit with a baseball that fast. I can just imagine the pain, and in his face. Wow. So I hope recovery for David Fry of the Cleveland Guardians. Wow. And the Chicago Cubs, boy, looks like they're just bombing out. They lost again yesterday. They won 1 out of 7 games. They will make the wild card. They have to win 2 more games before they decide if they get home field advantage. It looks like they're going to end up playing the San Diego Padres. We'll see what happens. I think their main starter with the Cubs is out. So it doesn't look really good for the Cubbies at this particular moment. Their pitching ain't the great. They're hitting. And look, yesterday or the day before, they won 10-2. When the bats are there, they win. But you can say that about any team. When the bats are there, they're going to win. But you also need pitching. So that's with the Chicago Cubs. Going to be interesting. My Yankees won yesterday. They're tied for first place with the Toronto Blue Jays. So it looks like the Yankees are going to do good too. Let's just hope they make it through October. Vince Neil, let's get to rock and roll. Vince Neil, you might recognize the name, a lead singer for many years of the rock and roll band, of course, Motley Crue. He's already had 4 strokes. He just had another one. Neil, I think it's time to retire. Your health should be more important than anything else. 4 strokes and he's still out there singing. I know it's in your blood, brother, but wow. I don't know anybody can you imagine anybody who's got 2 strokes, let alone 4? This is Vince Neil, Motley Crue. Daylight savings time, November 2nd. Oh, okay. So we still got some time. Oh, I thought it was coming up this Sunday, so I don't know. Sorry. Thank you, Patrice, because that's what someone sent me. So there you go. Ricky, what's up, brother? Long time no see. I hope you're well. Better faced than the groin. You're absolutely right. But that still got to hurt 99 mile an hour fast pitch. It still got to hurt. So our good Vince Neil, I don't know what you're going to do with Molly Crew, but hey, he might just drop on stage because that's how I want to go. If I'm going to go, I want to drop on stage, not on some senior home somewhere else, pissing in my pants and doing a Joe Biden. I don't want to end up like that. So that's just me. Looks like they're narrowing it down. Adele looks like she might be doing the 2026 NFL Super Bowl halftime show. At least she's going to be one of the artists, Adele. I don't know much about Adele. I know what she looks like. I think I know one song. I don't even know what it's called, but if I hear it, I know it's Adele. So I don't know what you guys think about Adele doing the halftime Super Bowl halftime coming up in 2026. Jill, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. So that's going to be interesting to see. All right, couple other things, folks. This is interesting. Teamsters. Gotta love the Teamsters. Some people are pro-union. Some people are not pro-union. A lot of my good friends are in the union or were in the union, very pro-union. And there's a lot of people that don't like the union. Well, Teamsters right now, it looks like the Democratic Teamsters, looks like they're going to start, a lot of them have been moving into the Republican side. It looks like there's a big change in that. I know they did it in New York. I don't know if they're doing it here in Chicago. I don't follow too much about that. But it's going to be interesting to see what's going on as the Teamsters move forward. Very interesting with that. Nail biters. Are you a nail biter? Do you not bite your nails? Now, sometimes if I get a little aggravated or something like that, the nails I do bite sometimes. It's a bad habit, But they say if you bite your nails, you're more creative and you're more perfectionist. I don't know if I'm more creative, and I'm definitely not a perfectionist. For me, if just keep it nice and easy and go what you got to go, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Do people bite their nails still? And do you guys bite your nails? I don't know. Creative. It's just a bad habit, folks. Probably should stop doing that. Another question that came up on the Tony Ocean's email. Did you ever, when you were a kid, or might still do, when you make a sandwich, sandwich, when you make a sandwich, we call it sandwich. Anyway, do you put potato chips? Come on, I've done it a few times. I don't know if you guys have, but you take the turkey, whatever it is, and you take the Jay's potato chips, right, or the real thin ones, and you put them in a sandwich, and then you smash them down together and eat it. I've done it before. I haven't done it in a long time, but I do remember putting potato chips in my sandwich. Now, I don't know if you guys ever did that, but interesting. Someone said, Tony, did you ever put potato chips in your sandwich? I don't even know why anybody would ask that question, but kind of cool. Get some new information, folks. Right? Absolutely. Yep, right. Kathy did potato chip sandwich. You gotta love it. Everybody, Ronnie B's done it. Another great day in sports, actually, on the 26th of September, 1961, New York Yankee Roger Maris tied Babe Ruth's 60 homers. He beat Babe Ruth. And of course, it was between Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris, both on the same teams, but everybody loved the Mick. One of my favorite baseball players of all time, Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. Now, remember, they're both on the same team. And the New York Yankee fans were destroying and booing Maris because they didn't think he deserved to have the home run king crown. It should be Mickey Mantle. But Maris not only tied Babe Ruth, but a couple games later, he actually beat Babe Ruth, Roger Maris. And if you ever see the movie 61, Barry Peppers in it, I think Billy Crystal produced it. Great movie. Gotta see it. 61. It's a story about breaking Babe Ruth's record. So the great Roger Maris. Oh, yeah. Very, very cool. All right, folks. Interesting stuff here today. Mother and daughter go viral on social media. And why? Because they're both expecting babies. the mother and the daughter. Okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. But here's the funny part. It's the same man. The mother and the daughter went viral on social media. They're both expecting, they're both pregnant with the same guy. That means the guy slept with mom and slept with the daughter. And it had to be probably around the same time. Frank Guido, what's up, my brother? Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Yes. So think about this. How into Michael Hunter, 26 years old, is now going to be a father. And he's going to be a father of the mother and the daughter now with this one man, both pregnant at the same time. Boy, imagine waking up to that. Imagine waking up to that. It's Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. Paul Freeman will be joining us at about 12:35, right after the Ace Hardware Minute Weather, of course, with a brand new, he's got 2 books out talking about the military and our veterans. The first book, of course, is called Legendary Hunters of Texas. And then, of course, he's got the big one here, one of my favorites. I'm just starting to read, Home Away from Home. That's Paulie Freeman from Tennessee will be on shortly after 12:35. We got some more great dates coming up, more shows coming up. October 2nd will be at Zaza's, returning to Barrington there, folks, on the 4th. I'm happy to do, we love doing things for the Back to Blue for the police officers. We're doing Illinois dinner for the police officers in St. Charles on October 4th with the Main Event Band. Always love giving back, and whether it's for the first responders or, I am with St. Jude's or what it was with Elmo Stone Foundation for Dogs. That's almost giving back. So I'm excited doing that. October 5th, we'll be at the International Playboy Bunny Convention, performing there in Dolce Restaurant Banquet Hall, of course, in Scottsdale, Arizona. Me and Jerry Jams. That's going to be Sunday, October 5th. October 9th, we're returning to Capri, Osteria Capri, and Downers Grove with Double T, Tony Toto, and Lisa P. It's going to happen, folks. And let's not forget, the 11th will be at the brand new hotel restaurant Chez Paul in Arlington Heights on the 11th of Chez Paul in Arlington Heights. I'm looking forward to that one. New place. Big Sammy's on the 15th of October. Very, very cool. Don't forget the Columbus Day Parade, October 13th. And we got 2 Rat Pack shows coming up in October, folks. St. Joseph's Deacon Church on the south side. It'll be a afternoon Sunday concert at 3 o'clock on October 12th on the south side of Chicago. And then we're taking a road trip, folks. Taliesin Theater in Spring Green, Wisconsin. It's actually the theater was built by Frank Lloyd Wright. So that's going to be an Ocean's Rat Pack show. A lot going on in October. And then, of course, Tony Ocean and Friends at the Des Plaines Theater are going to be happening November 9th. We're going to get all the details for you next week, who's performing, and tickets are going to be at oshows.com. That's Sunday, November 9th. I think it's going to be a 3 o'clock hit. Produced by Ron Onesti, folks. Don't forget Armando's Supermarkets. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois. There's the Professor Daryl Amundstad. See you tonight, my brother. I got some pears for you and some apples for you right from the garden, brother. That's right. Hanging and banging definitely was banging the girls. Well, hanging and banging, you're absolutely right. That gentleman slept with the mom and the daughter, and now they're both pregnant. If you're just tuning in today to Ocean's Pit at this particular moment in time, crazy as it is. I know, it's just nuts. That's like I said now, I've said this over and over and over again. These stories that are coming on now, remember years ago, you'd go, oh my God. Now when you hear these stories, like, oh, well, so roll the eyes, another crazy day, right? I'll drink to that. Little vodka and cranberry. Good in the afternoon. Does a body good. All right. We still got some time before the weather, and then Paul Freeman will be joining us. This is very interesting. You know how much we love music, and I'm sure most of you people love music. Some of the bands that have still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, if I'm thinking here right, one of them might be. I don't know how long this came out, but just remember, none of these band artists are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, some people care about it. Some people think it's a joke. Alan, how you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. So let's see. Styx, not in the Hall of Fame. Now, some should be, some shouldn't be. I'm not a Styx fan, so I don't care. Boston, Kansas, Should they be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Probably. If you're just asking me, not my favorites. Iron Maiden, Motley Crue, Toto, and not Tony Toto, but he should be. This is the band Toto. Yeah. Supertramp, Jay Giles, Peter Wolf, one of my favorite male singers. Scorpions, right? INXS, Devo, B-52s, Bryan Adams, Sting, solo, not with the Police. Diana Ross, solo, not with the Supremes. The New York Dolls, David Johansen. Three Dog Night, REO Speedwagon. Huey Lewis and the News, Dan Fogelberg, Phil Collins, solo, not Genesis. Albert, how you doing, my good brother? These are the people, bands, or soloists that are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's go back. Dan Fogelberg, Phil Collins, Steve Winwood, solo. Alan Parsons Project, Blue Oyster Cult, Meatloaf, Johnny Winter, Ronnie James Dio, Joy Division, New Order, Monkees, Garth Brooks, Tommy James, Alessa Morissette, Smith, Stone Temple Pilots, The Replacements. I love The Replacements. Alice in Chains, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Jethro Tull. I think Jethro Tull is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I could be wrong, but I thought he is. The Guess Who, Grand Funk Railroad, Jim Croce, Robert Palmer, Eddie Money, Kenny Loggins, America, Thin Lizzy, Pointer Sisters, Billy Idol, Marshall Tucker Band, Air Supply, Harry Nilsson, Loverboy, Tears for Fears, Motorhead, and the Little River Band. Boyd, I agree with you 100%. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a bunch of crap. At least 20% of these bands should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they put bands in there it's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not the pop or rock and roll pop, fine. Not rap, not country, put out your own. Country's got its own Hall of Fame. They put Dolly Parton in, 2 years ago? And she said she didn't want to go and she didn't think she deserved to be in it. So what does she do? She records a rock and roll album. Now she can go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A lot of what you mentioned are the Illinois Rock and Roll. Yes, well, a lot of the bands are in the Illinois Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They just inducted the great Enough's Enough, Chip and Donnie reunion. But yeah, I mean, it is just Dennis, Lake Geneva. What's up, buddy? Jeanette, how you doing? Yeah, pregnant, the mom and daughter. Yes, here's the problem with that, going back to that story. If the mom and daughter didn't know they were sleeping with the same guy, it's not their fault. But if they knew, and then there's really something screwed up in that whole thing. But yes, you're right, Jeanette. I hope you're doing well. So, yeah, these bands not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's just nuts. How about this quote? Tell me what you think. It's okay to wear old clothes, to not upgrade your phone, to buy secondhand items, to live in a simple home. It's okay to live a simple life. I bet you 90% of the world live a simple life. Everybody thinks that we need all this other stuff. Well, he has it, or they have the new phone, and blah, blah, blah. If you want to keep up with technology and everything like that, you got to get more stuff. But yeah, I don't know, lay back and just relax. I guess the more simple life is, I guess things are better, right? You got to upgrade the phone, maybe, right? Cable, if you want to watch cable. Some people don't even have that. There's my buddy, Greg. We were just talking about you, Greg, in the beginning of the show. Jennifer, Greg, Dela, Taverna on Division. This Saturday night, #1 patio in the suburbs of Chicago. Great food, great patio. Right next door, they got a place called The Joint. So you have pizza, gaming, all one. You go to one spot, you park once, you go to two places, and the food is fantastic. So this Saturday. Me and Double T looking forward to 2026, my brother. Taverna on Division. Now, like I said, a couple minutes, it's the weather, and then Paul Freeman, a great author from the Chicago, but now in the beautiful Tennessee area. Here's some breaking news, and I hope this isn't true. I hope, and I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers and piss people off, but this, I hope to God, is not true. This was sent in by Mary Baldasano. Breaking news, a loophole was just found in the Constitution that allows Obama to run for president in 2028. Imagine the destruction he would cause if he becomes president. He would try to finish taking down America. This was the quote from this particular person. Now, the actual comments, of course, against just destroyed, never happened, blah, blah, blah. Whether it's Obama or not, it could never happen. So in the Constitution. But this is stuff that people send, or this is that people listen to, and it's out there. And sometimes you got to question everything. Yeah, because you don't know anymore. Who knows? If the Democrats have some way, and not all Democrats, if certain Democrats have their way, they'll try to do whatever it takes to take down what we got going on right now. And that's the way politics are. For another establishment call, according to CNN, if you listen to CNN or not, I don't even know they still had viewers. CNN, Starbucks announces significant store closures and layoffs. Certain stores, hundreds of stores, they do have a lot. They're probably going to go and say, okay, we don't need this one here. It happens when you grow and you open all these stores. Eventually, some of them don't sell or don't work as well as the others. So I don't know what happens with Starbucks. I'm not a coffee guy. So is what it is. Guys, you know what it's time for? It is time for the JRC Ace Hardware Minute. It's time for the weather. That's right. Brought to you by JRC Ace Hardware Stores. The weather today is Friday, September 26th at 77 degrees. Feels like it's 78, which doesn't make sense, but that's what it said. 77, 45% humidity, folks. 6-mile-an-hour winds. It's sunny. It's a beautiful day today. No rain in the forecast. And that is the weather today for Friday, September 26th. Brought to you by Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Let's get another sponsor in there, folks, before we bring up our guest there. Sorry about that. It's even though the season's over, folks, for landscaping and stuff like that, but just consider, and we're going to do this until October, if you don't have a landscaping company, you're not happy maybe with the one you have, this is the company you want to use. It's Jack Vanna Landscaping. They offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring, fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing, weed control. They offer plant design service and installation. They've been servicing the northern Illinois area for over 50 years. For 50 years. Call Tommy at 847-432-5266 and get them to landscape your home. He does my job at our place. He does an incredible job. He can do it for you too. And if you want to relax and try to become your own bank, start saving some money, one way to do it with our friends from Imperialux. That's right. Imagine putting the money to work for you, becoming your own bank, and making your dream retirement a reality with lifetime income. Wendy Thompson and Craig Coughlin will help you create personal pensions, grow your wealth, secure a legacy. It's never too late to start. Take charge of your financial future today. Give them a call at 630-890-1213 or book them on Calendly for a free consultation and start building the retirement you deserve. That's with Imperialux, 630-890-1213, becoming your own bank. Now, who doesn't want to do that, right? All right, today, folks, it's time for my guest. Today is the 45th anniversary of Vietnam, and we can do many, many shows and hours on that alone. But we like to also promote local entertainers or local artists or authors or whatever it is. We like to get them on the show and plug what they got going on. Paul Freeman, I know his wife Francine for many, many years. We just hooked up. He watches the show. Paul, thank you, and Francine, thank you guys for watching. But he's an author of 2 books, pretty interesting books. This first one here is The Legendary Hunters of Texas: The True Story of Honor, Courage, and Commitment. Once a hunter, always a hunter. And we're talking about Paulie Freeman. And then he's got another book here, folks, called Home Away from Home. Chucky V, folks, from the city streets to the steel, the flight deck, a sailor's journey. Very, very cool. And I like this that was written in here. This is one of the quotes, and only people that follow or the military or the Air Force or whatever it is, anybody, thank you for fighting for our country. Listen to this quote. Dedicated to the men and women who have and who are currently standing the watch, who do so with courage, commitment, and serving our great nation for a greater cause than themselves. Pretty, very cool words. We have the author with us, joining us from Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee. Yeah, take the last train to Clarksville, and I'll meet you at. There you go. Clarksville, there's Paul Freeman in the house. Look at you. It looks like you're at the White House there. Paul,
no, I'm doing good. Thanks, Tony, for having me. I just want to shout out to you for everything you do. You have a great show. We love your music, my wife and I. And now my mom follows you as well. Thank you for the kindness you showed her at the getaway last Saturday at the performance. And I really appreciate your support of the vets, active duty, and the first responders. I mean, just, thank you very much.
Well, no problem. No, thank you for serving for our country and doing what you do. And Paul, when you talk about military, you talk about veterans, you talk about Vietnam, it's almost like that no, can't speak about it, politics, religion, blah, 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 blah. And which is sad. Like we just said, 45th year of Vietnam anniversary today. But before we get into the book and everything like that, Paul Freeman, where were you born, my friend?
Well, I was born of Harlem and Foster, Chicago. I grew up on the north side, so sorry, Tony, I'm a Cubs fan. I know you're a Yankees guy, and that's okay,
That's okay. Most of my best friends are Cub fans or Sox fans. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I grew up on the north side, went to St. Monica's Grammar School, right in the neighborhood there. Went to Weber High School. And after high school, I was supposed to go play football at UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso. But my grandpa, who lived with us, he told me I'd be right back at the house in 2 years talking to him because I wouldn't last. I said, "Oh, thanks, Grandpa, for the words of encouragement."
Yes.
He was a Navy guy, Tony, and he goes, "Guess what you're going to do?" In my junior year of high school, he goes, "You're going in the Navy." And I'm like, "I'm not going in the Navy. I'm going to go to college." He goes, "You're going to go to college. You're going to goof off, and you're going to be right back here. You're going in the Navy." So lo and behold, at 18 years old, I went in the Navy and went to Great Lakes for boot camp, 6 days high school. Yeah, and then
And the future's there. We've done shows. I've done shows at the Navy, Navy place. We've done some shows there. Yeah. You know what, Paul? It's interesting when you didn't want to go, just like you said, didn't want to go. You wanted to go to college. You thought it was the right thing to do. You got in. How old were you?
18 years old.
Now, God, 18 years old. That's, I don't think men mature probably I'm still not mature. So who knows? But what I'm trying to say is, what was that feeling going in, Paul? What was that feeling?
Going into the military, it kind of, in some ways, the military was conducive to kind of who I was. Anyway, I was an athlete and I trained all the time and I liked the routine and structure. So when I went in the military, I liked that kind of routine and all that. But at 18 years old, you got a guy that's, 2 years older than you, but he's 3 ranks higher and he's in boot camp and he's yelling at you. And, it's kind of hard to take, right? But, you just comply and you get through the process. And then, after boot camp, they send you off to your tech school. And then lo and behold, you're on an aircraft carrier in Yokosuka, Japan. you know, and I'm going, how did I get here?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's got to be. And then you know what the interesting about it, folks, the bickering and everybody's going on with religion and nationalities and this and that, blah blah blah, and the everyday world. But when you're next to the guy next to you, he can be Oriental, he can be Spanish, he can be African American, he can be whatever it is, he can be a Hindu, he can be whatever, not your religion, but you're all fighting for the same cause, and you put all that shit aside. You don't give a shit for the call of duty for the United States of America. And do you sure you got some friends from that time that are still with you, or do you still talk to? Do you keep in
Oh yeah,
contact with these people?
absolutely. And what you're saying about the diversity, you know, that like in the civilian world, it's a big issue. In the military, you know what? You're relying on that person next to you to do their job, so you can do your job, and you work as a team. You don't see all this. You don't see all this nonsense in the military as much as you do in the civilian sector. I mean, in the military, you have people from all walks of life, all nationalities, and we're all there to perform a mission. And you don't care if that person is what background they have or whatever. All you care about is that they do their part. And
Yeah,
you know, and military doesn't put up with that discrimination. It gets weeded out pretty quick, and so
yeah,
it's ironic. But you can ask a lot of military folks, and a lot of military folks will say, you know, yeah, we don't have these prejudices that like hypothetically a civilian, you know, may have because we're grouped
sure.
together. I mean, aircraft carrier, there's 5,000 of us for 6 to 8 months living on a ship together in close quarters. You've got to learn how to adjust and how to respect other cultures, other people, and you know, and you know, yeah, I think in society right now, Tony, we need to temper things down. You know, I mean, the things are very hot, and you know, I'll call them a lot of keyboard warriors on the media, social media,
Yeah,
typing things up and stirring
yeah,
things up.
yeah.
You know, I think what we need is a little bit more civility in society, and I might be going off here a little bit, but a little more civility in society, and a little bit more of emotional intelligence. You know, and what I mean by that is, if you have a disagreement with somebody, you know, emotional intelligence is measuring your emotions and their emotions, and diffusing situations and trying to have a respectful conversation. And I think a lot of that's lacking, and a lot of it is face-to-face time is lacking as well. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
well,
beyond all that,
when two people actually can sit in front of each other and talk, it's amazing how much stuff you can get sorted out. Or you know what I
yeah,
mean? But it's when you have like these like social media and you answer these guys, the keyboard warriors, whatever they are, blah 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 blah. And then, like I said, with all the different TV stations and whatever their CEO is, Republican or Democrat or conservative or liberal, whatever the hell it is, they're
yeah,
pushing their agenda, and it is what it is. I got all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Things need to calm down a little bit. I do agree. I think it started way before Donald Trump became president. I think this all started when Obama was, my opinion. That's when it all started, and then it just getting worse and whatever it is to whether part of what's going on. Um, but then now let's get to the book here real fast.
yeah.
You're doing this your life, and by the way, Ganella Baking Company. That's something we both have mutual. My father is a only job he ever had was for Ganella Baking Company
Yep,
on Menard, and then he went to the South Side, and then it changed to Torino. It changed
yep,
whatever when he was doing his thing. And I worked at the Schomburg before I became Tony Ocean full time, folks. When I was still Mauricio Mo Carrara, I worked at before Electech. I worked at Ganella Baking Company in Schomburg, the frozen fruit plant, for 8 years as a baker, and then I became a shipper, stretching the bread and then putting it in the box and sending the frozen bread to Dominic's or Jewel and all those, grocery stores, whatever it was. So, how long were you with Ganella?
no. Well, okay, so my father, my pops, he worked on the bread delivery trucks as when I was growing up, and Francine, uh, uh, her father, Joe, God bless both their souls. They're not with us no longer, but he drove the bread delivery trucks. So my pops worked on them, and Francine's dad drove them. So, and I grew up now in my house, and I'm sure in yours, you know, that bread, when you bring it home, it has no preservatives in it. It's soft, but it's crunchy outside. That was like ice cream to me when I was growing up as a kid.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but,
I agree with you 100%. The only problem is it didn't stay soft for a very long time, but it was good. And we got it
no,
fresh every morning. We got it
yep,
fresh every morning because my dad worked a night shift. So he came home in the morning and we had the bread all ready to go.
yep,
Also,
yep,
20 years
yeah.
in the Navy. And do you still work for the industry?
I work in the aviation industry still. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to.
Um,
I'm not supposed to talk about certain stuff because of my job, my current job.
sure,
But I work in the
sure.
aviation industry.
Okay, and
Yeah,
you leave it at that. No problem.
yeah.
Clarksville, Tennessee. All right. So
Woo-hoo.
How does a guy from Grand and whatever Grand Avenue and what?
Harlem and Foster.
Lyman Foster. How do you get there to become? First of all, with the Navy, like what you told me that story with your dad. But
Yeah,
in Clarksville, Tennessee. Now, what's the difference between Tennessee and in Chicago?
it's the big word that starts with a T. Taxes.
Bingo. Okay,
No,
I can
Texas.
bingo,
No, but
bingo.
what it is the Legendary Hunters of Texas. That book, I was based in Texas with that F-18 squadron. I was aircraft maintenance chief for that squadron. Just to segue into that really quick, and we were a reserve squadron at the time, right there, and we got called up to go do the shock and awe airstrikes in 2003 after 9/11.
Now that was
And
is that the Operation Iraqi Freedom thing?
yes, sir. Yep, yep. And so we were part of the shock and awe airstrike team that did the initial airstrikes into northern Iraq. We did that so that the ground troops and special forces can move up north to do their job. So we provided air support and to allow the ground troops to move up. So, but anyways, I was in Texas and I love the South. I was there 26 years, and Francine and I, we both love the South. So after another move or so, we decided to make our home in Tennessee because we can drive to Tennessee to see our family in Chicago and my mom up in Wisconsin. It's a daytime drive. It's not hard. And so it just seems we get a little bit of the South, a little bit of tax breaks, and we can drive our car back and forth to visit people, and it works out really well. So Tennessee, it's fun. It's a nice place. It's got the South hospitality, and it's pretty. So, but
That's
you know,
pretty. It is definitely pretty up in Tennessee. You're absolutely right. Paul Freeman is joining us with us, folks. He's the author of 2 books, Legendary Hunters of Texas, which he just finished talking about briefly, and of course, and Home Away from Home, which is another book we'll talk about in a few minutes as well. Paul, since you were involved in part of the Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, why do they hate us so much? Why does the people hate us? I mean,
well,
is it because? Is it because? What your opinion?
my opinion is we're a young country overall speaking. We're 200 plus years old. Countries that have had conflicts for years, they're 1,000 years old. They haven't progressed like we have. There might be some, our beliefs are contrary to foreign beliefs in some countries, perhaps. And I just think they don't like us. We're a powerful country. We're a young country in retrospect to foreign countries, and I think they don't like us. They just don't. They don't like our belief systems, the freedoms that we have, and so therefore we have conflict. These conflicts. Today is the 45th anniversary of Vietnam, and 58,209 people died in that. 9/11, which changed my life and many others, obviously. We had 2,799 die from that. These conflicts, politically speaking or whatever, there's different reasons why, but those are sacrifices of people that have, they sign on the dotted line, willing to give their life for the freedoms of civilians to have First Amendment rights, all the rights. And so, but I think that's why I think that's why we're not liked, Tony, is we're just a young country and we're very successful, very powerful. And I think there's just cultural differences and
No, I get all that. And the word is hate. It's hate.
Yeah.
I mean, they hate,
yeah,
they hate us
a lot of
very
people
much.
don't like us.
And you know that, and I got it. And we do have, we come across with that cocky attitude, even though we're more advanced and maybe, but do you also understand that sometimes here we are going into their part, trying to tell these people what to do? Sometimes it makes you wonder too. You know, it's almost like what they did to the poor, what they did to the horrible Native Americans. Hey, you know, when the Pilgrims came and you know the Indians were there helping them, and all of a sudden now, no, you're going to need to learn this religion. You're going to need to learn to do this. So sometimes if they hated us from the beginning, they probably even got more hate for us trying to tell them to change these people. Why do we always blow these people up and then go back and help them?
Well, you know, we can't impose democracy on the world. You cannot do that. We can try, but you know, you cannot send, a Navy, I wasn't a Marine, but you can't send Marines into Iraq, for an example, and expect them to be the local police authority, you know, and try and instill these a democratic society. They're not willing to do that. And they have their own beliefs. We have our own beliefs. And you know, to have ground troops over there trying to be police officers, you know, it doesn't make sense. I mean, a Marine, you know, without being too harsh, a Marine's trained to kill. That's what a Marine does. They're trained to kill.
Yeah.
And they're not police officers, you know, trying to handle domestic disputes in Iraq or whatever on the ground, and that's not their mission. So you get all that going too in there, and just creates a big mess, you know. And you know, we have to really look at our own country first. It's a priority, in my opinion. You know, defense-wise, you know, we you know, perhaps we're not as safe as everybody thinks we are. You know, China has a bigger military, perhaps more ships and all that, but the U.S. has the technology that we have. This is all military talk. The technology that we have is far advanced, and China winds up stealing our stuff anyway. You know. They wind up stealing our ones and zeros, our binary codes for this and that and this and whatever, and they wind up stealing it. But they cannot. They may steal things from us, but they cannot harvest and be as efficient as we are. Our folks
as we are here in the United States.
Yeah, and they can get a lot of stuff from us, but they can't get everything from us. So you know.
No, or unless somebody on our side sells them to them.
Yeah.
Then you know what I mean.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about your second book here now, folks. Another thing? This one's called Home Away from Home. What I like about this and about the two books, which is very nice that people might not know, Navy, it's not just a job, and it's adventure. Remember the commercials you used to always hear when you used to show the commercials for this with the Navy. But
it's my picture on the back of the book.
Who is that?
That's me on the back of the book at 18 years old.
Look at that going, oh my God. Yeah. That is pretty cool. And look at that, what you're looking at 18. Some people are just learning how to drive, or some people, this is what you faced at 18 years old, right, Paul? Yeah. But the proceeds of these books that are sold, 21 Kill organization, the Gary Sinise Foundation, who is very big with the military, Open Heart Magic you do for the kids. That's a pretty cool thing to do, just with all the proceeds from the books. Tell me a little bit about Home Away from Home.
Well, Home Away from Home. So the legendary Hunters of Texas, my fellow vets, shipmates, encouraged me to write that book so we can sustain our story of what we did as a reserve squadron, going over and being the first fighter squadron in naval history to perform combat. So the second book was written. It was so I wanted to write these books to help. In other words, I'm not trying to be self-serving here, but to write books and to give back somehow. And so I wrote the second book because I wanted to just capture a little bit of you know, what made me kick off into this journey in life, and also to get some of my buddies that I was in the military with, get them in the book and let their stories be told, because there's a lot of, when you hang around, I've been around people that are, Medal of Honor awardees and stuff.
Sure.
When you hang around people like that, you realize the sacrifices that others have made. Their stories are told, but there's many other folks that serve and do great things that their stories aren't told. And
we don't
in my
know about
book,
the story.
yeah, they don't know the story. So in my book, I just wanted to show a little respect to some of my shipmates on the Carl Vinson in that book, and I put their stories in there with their permission. And it's also, I wrote it to be for a catalyst to continue doing the book proceed donations. So Open Heart Magic, just a backdrop on that. That one I'm currently doing. That was Open Heart Magic was my father-in-law, Joe. He, God rest his soul, he really loved Open Heart Magic, the foundation. And my brother-in-law, Tony Venetico, he's one of the magicians that go to the hospitals to perform magic for children that are in serious need, to bring a smile to their face, and so I told my wife after my father-in-law passed, I go, we gotta, whatever book proceeds we get, I want to send them to Open Heart Magic, out of respect for my father-in-law and for my my brother-in-law Tony, who's very active in doing the magic shows for the kids at the hospitals. So the different foundations that I've donated to have been purposeful at that time. Gary Sinise, I used to donate to him. Well, I met Gary Sinise at a book signing. I was at an air show, and I met his promoter, and she said Gary Sinise wanted to meet me at his concert. So I show up at the concert with Francine, and we sit next to the promoter, and we spent about an hour talking to Gary Sinise after his show, and so I felt compelled to donate to him, but now it's Open Heart Magic.
Well, you know what? And he's done a lot too. He's always been in there. There's pictures of the book in the book with you and Gary. Here's one like right here, and a couple pictures with Gary Sinise. Of course, Gary Sinise, not only a Chicago actor, but remember he was Captain Dion on
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, yeah. So, but
Dan.
he did other great movies too, right? Paulie, it's interesting here. 9/11 and all the stuff that happened to us here in the United States, and what's going on with Russia right now. But you know what? The whole Putin thing, in your opinion, it almost seems it's like, I don't know, is anybody going to make a move? It almost seems like, I don't know if it's almost like it's just for fun. I don't know.
Well, I think he's shown that and this is just me speaking. I don't have any really deep military insight anymore. I've been for 20 some years, but to me, Putin just he has an agenda. I think he wants to take over Ukraine. He wants it to be the big USSR, and I think where Putin's getting mixed up in is kind of dangerous. Is he's dealing with China. If he flies over a NATO country such as Poland or something like that, now he's pushing the limit. And for whatever it's worth, I'm not a politician. I don't pretend to be one, even after we're off the show. But if you lay some economic sanctions on him, maybe that'll stop the madness. Also the other countries that are feeding him oil or buying their oil and do whatever they're doing, they're indirectly supporting the effort too. I think Putin's got an agenda. He's very dangerous. I wouldn't trust him. And so I think if he starts messing around with the NATO countries surrounding Ukraine, we're going to have a big mess on our hands, and we may have to take a more active role in that.
I think so too, and I think President Donald Trump, I think if anybody, I think he might be able to be at least come to some sort of something with him. I mean, I don't know. You think Trump is good when it comes to this kind of stuff, in your opinion?
Well, I think so. Beyond the stuff that surrounds him, he has produced some results. He's ended 7 wars. whether somebody's voted for him or not, I'll be honest with you, I don't really care. And I think you and I have our opinions are pretty well in line. So you know where I'm coming from without saying it, because I don't want to raise the temperature out there and get everybody.
Right. Yeah, people know. Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, de-escalate some things here. But I think he's already put an end to 7 wars. I mean, come on.
He just came on the news today a couple hours ago. It said it looks like they come up with some agreement with Gaza. It looks like we're going to get some of our hostages back. I just seen something that came up on the news TV I was watching. I didn't get into it much, but Paul, how old are you?
I am now 60.
Okay, Paul, and you're a couple years younger than I am. First of all, a mutual friend of ours say hello. Patrick Moore says hello to you, Mr. Paulie. Patrick Moore says hello. Patrick, how you doing, brother? In your opinion, in your opinion, who do you think the best president was that handled the military the best, in your opinion?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I guess I could cop out on this and just go Trump. Now, I have people that are deployed over in the arena right now. They have say that the military they're cutting. It's not as good as it could be, and they have some opinions. But in my lifetime, I would say Trump. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I know that's not popular, but I look at it and I'm going, this guy's just recently has ended the 7 wars. He's taken down terrorists. When he says something, the world knows. Don't push him because he's going to do something. You bet he's
going to do something.
When it comes to the military or when he says he's going to do something, the world knows that we mean business. I mean, it's without getting into politics.
I agree with you 100%, Paul. You don't even have to say anymore. I totally understand where you're coming from. We are coming to the end of the hour, but first of all, if anybody wants to purchase your books, Home Away from Home or The Legendary Texas, Paul, how do they get these books?
Well, first I want to shout out to my wife for all her support she gives me. These books can be bought on Amazon. They come in hardcover and they come in Kindle. So just type in Amazon, type in the book titles, and you can get them.
There you go, folks. So make sure you private message me if you're interested too, or you can buy a private message, Paulie, and make sure you get these books. And remember, the proceeds go to Open Heart Magic, which is very, very, very important. One last question, a real short one, Paul. Would you recommend the younger kids right now to get involved with the military, Navy, anything like that? Would you recommend them if they say, this is what I want to do?
I would say one step further. I think it should be mandatory. It should be mandatory. 2 years service to your country.
Better than college. If you're not going to college for something, go to military. I agree with you 100%. Paulie, first of all, I want to thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being supportive of the show. Great seeing you, your mom, and of course, Francine. And looking forward to spending some time with you on the cruise in January. It'll be fun doing that. But guys, listen, go ahead and support. It's important. And I just hope things get a little bit better on both sides for everybody. And we can all come to some common goal that we can all just be peaceful, and let's just all try to get along. It's something that we've been trying to do forever. They're in Tennessee, and you tell Francine hello and enjoy your day, buddy. Thank you so much. Ocean's Pit, our good friend Paul Freeman, Paulie, as they call him, folks, and it was a pleasure to have him on. And like I say, I always like getting other stories and other people's views, and that's what it's about. It's fantastic, and thank you. And make sure you get the books because they go for a good cause, and it's good reading, folks. Very good reading. Tonight, Chicago Prime Steakhouse. Tomorrow, Taverna on Division, and the fall season is here. Thanksgiving. coming around the corner. Halloween, of course, and also we got Christmas, holidays. It's time for Mama D's breads. They're back. Pumpkin, apple spice, caramel apple, pumpkin chocolate chip, $11 a piece. $6 for mini or 2 for $10. Get them for a while supplies last. Contact Natalie Bosch, my sister-in-law, through Messenger, or give her a call at 847-533-0400. Get those breads, great stocking stuffers. Birthdays for Friday, September 26th. Rex Smith was a heartthrob singer, actor in the 70s, turned 70. Jazz great Bobby Short here from Chicago would have been 100 years old. Lou Greco of Uncle Louie Variety Show. Happy birthday, Lou. Audrey Lindsay, better known as Mrs. Ropert. That's right, from the Roperts. Stanley celebrating Nick and Phyllis's dog, Oliver, celebrating 4 years old. The great Jim Henson, the man behind the Muppets, celebrating for the wife, the widow, of course, the great Linda McCarthy, who was the first wife of Paul McCartney. I think this goes back a couple days. Linda, happy birthday up in heaven. Phil Hartman, of course, from Saturday Night Live, another great comedian who passed away, celebrating a birthday. Stella Raimondi, great singer from Chicago. Stella, how are you doing, my dear friend? Heather Locklear, 66 years old. And Anson Wilson, Potsy from Happy Days, celebrating a birthday, folks. It's been a great Friday. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. We really do appreciate it. And let's thank our friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Don't forget to download the Ace app. A new Ace app downloads receive $10 coupon just for downloading the app. That is our good friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Guys, we have to go. Again, thanks my good buddy Paul Freeman. I appreciate it. Again, pick up the book, The Legendary Hunters of Texas, and Home Away from Home on Amazon, hardcover, and on Kindle. Get them. All proceeds go to Open Heart Magic for Kids. It's a good thing. Support, support, support. Buy local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment. Be kind to one another, folks. And if you're offended with anything from this show or any other show, change the channel. We do it every day, but just try to get along. It's a tough world out there. Ringo Starr says peace and love, and that's what we need in this world. I want you all to have an incredible weekend, and thank you all for being part of the Tony Ocean Show. My heart goes out to all of you. God bless you. See you back on Monday here on Ocean's Pit. Same time, same channel. Peace. Goodbye, everybody.
Time to go, it's the end of the show. See you later from Tony O.
Bye-bye, everybody.